Testing, testing, 3, 2, 1. Good morning. My name is Andy, and today we're going to be talking about the book of Genesis. I am going to go ahead and share my testimony with you, and we'll go ahead and get started here. So I felt inspired to do these podcasts on Sundays because of my journey with God. And it's pretty incredible because in March I was in a whole different place mentally than where I am now. And, I was in a very violent and abusive marriage. And, I prayed about it one night. I said, God, please help me, guide me, make sure I'm on the right path. And He did. So, because God saved my life, I want to be able to provide the same for others. So today we'll go ahead and start with the book of Genesis, because the thing about getting close to God is that God tells you how to go through life. Someone once told me the Bible stands for basic instructions, on earth. But we'll go ahead and get started. So in the book of Genesis, it starts with the 6 days of creation and the Sabbath. In the beginning, when God created the heavens and the earth was a formless void, and darkness covered the face of the deep, while a wind from God swept over the face of the waters. Then God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And God saw that the light was good, and God separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness He called night. And there was evening, and there was morning, the first day. And God said, "Let there be a dome in the midst of the waters, and let us separate the waters from the waters." So God made the dome and separated the waters that were under the dome from the waters that were above the dome. And it was so. God called the dome sky, and there was evening and there was morning the second day. And God said, "Let the waters under the sky be gathered together in one place, and let the dry land appear," and it was so. God called the dry land earth, and the waters that were gathered together He called seas, and God saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let the earth put forth vegetation, plants yielding seed, and fruit trees of every kind on earth that bear fruit with the seed in it." And it was so. The earth brought forth vegetation, plants yielding seed of every kind, and trees of every kind bearing fruit with the seed in it. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening and there was morning the third day. And God said, "Let there be lights in the dome of the sky to separate the day from the night. And let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. And let them be lights in the dome of the sky to give light upon the earth." And it was so. God made the two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night and the stars. God set them in the dome of the sky to give light upon the earth, to rule over the day and over the night, and to separate the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening and there was morning and the fourth day. And God said, "Let the waters bring forth swarms of living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth across the dome of the sky." So God created the great sea monsters, and every living creature that moves, of every kind, which the waters swarm, and every winged bird of every kind. And God saw that it was good. God blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful, and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let birds multiply on the earth." And there was evening, and there was morning, the fifth day. God said, "Let the earth bring forth living creatures of every kind, cattle, and creeping things, and wild animals of earth of every kind." And it was so. God made the wild animals of earth of every kind, and the cattle of every kind, and everything that creeps upon the ground of every kind. And God saw that it was good. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all their multitude. And on the seventh day God finished the work that He had done, and He rested on the seventh day from all the work that He had done. So God blessed the seventh day and hallowed it, because on it God rested from all the work that He had done in creation. These are the generations of the heavens and the earth when they were created. There's also another account of creation that says, "In the day the Lord made I'm so sorry. Let's restart. Let's back up a little bit. Another account of the creation. In the day that the Lord God made the earth and the heavens, when no plant of the field was yet in the earth, and no herb of the field had yet sprung upon, from the Lord God had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was no one till the ground, but a stream would rise from the earth and water the whole face of the ground. Then the Lord God formed man from the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living being. And the Lord God planted a garden in Eden in the east, and there he put the man whom he had formed. Out of the ground the Lord made to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food, the tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. A river flows out of Eden to water the garden, and from there it divides and becomes 4 branches. The name of the first is Pishon. It is the one that flows around the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold, and the gold of that land is good. Bdellium and onyx stone over there. The name of the second river is Gihon. It is the one that flows around the whole land of Cush. The name of the name of the third river is Tigris, which flows east of Assyria, and the fourth river is the Euphrates. The Lord God took the man and put him in the garden of Eden to till and keep it. And the Lord God commanded the man, You may freely eat of every tree of the garden, but of the tree of knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat, for in the day that you eat of it you shall die. Then the Lord said, It is not good the man should be alone. I will make that the man should not be alone. I will make him a helper. Let me restart that little paragraph, I'm sorry. Then the Lord God said, It is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him a helper as his partner. So out of the ground the Lord God formed every animal of the field and every bird of the air, and brought them to the man to see what he could call them. And whatever the man called every living creature, that was its name. The man gave name to all cattle, and to the birds of the air, and to every animal of the field. Before the man there was not found a helper as his partner. So the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon the man, and he slept. Then he took one of his ribs and closed up its place with flesh, and the rib that the Lord God had taken from the man he had made into a woman, and brought her to the man. Then the man said, This at last is bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. This one shall be called woman, for out of man this one was taken. Therefore man leaves his father and his mother and clings to his wife, and they become one flesh. And the man and his wife were both naked, and were not ashamed. The first sin and its punishment. Now the serpent was more crafty than any other wild animal that the Lord God had made. He said to the woman, Did God say, You shall not eat from any tree in the garden? The woman said to the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees in the garden, but God said, You shall not eat of the fruit of the tree that is in the middle of the garden, nor shall you touch it, or you shall die. But the serpent said to the woman, You will not die, for God knows that when you eat of it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil. So when the woman saw the tree was for food, and that it was a delight to the eyes, and that the tree was to be desired to make one wise, she took of its fruit and ate. And she also gave some to her husband who was with her, and he ate. Then the eyes of both were open, and they knew that they were naked. And they sewed fig leaves together and made loincloths for them. They heard the sound of the Lord walking in the garden at the time of the evening breeze. And the man and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord among the trees of the garden. But the Lord called to the man and said to him, Where are you? He said, I heard the sound of you in the garden, and I was afraid, because I was naked and I hid myself, he said. Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree of which I commanded you not to eat? The man said, The woman who you gave me to be with, she gave me fruit from the tree and I ate. Then the Lord said to the woman, What is this that you have done?" The woman said, "The serpent tricked me and I ate." The Lord God said to the serpent, "Because you have done this, cursed are you among all animals and among all wild creatures." Now, this is a very powerful passage, and honestly, it's one of my favorites because God took his time to create the earth. He delighted in earth so much, and he created Adam and Eve, and it was beautiful because Eve came from Adam's rib. And if you think about, like, the ribs are meant to protect the heart, so it was like Eve was like his protector. But they were both deceived by manipulation and deception with the serpent who told them to do something that they knew that they shouldn't have never done. And because of those actions, they were both cursed. So we'll go ahead and stop there, I suppose, and then we'll begin the next chapter tomorrow. But yeah, that was the story of Adam and Eve and when they ate from the apple and the chaos that ensued because of it. But, you think about the Bible and God created all these beautiful things that we see, flowers, nature, fruits that we eat. Like, God has blessed us with so much beauty. And for those of you out there in the world who have a divine relationship or partnership with someone, maybe you have children, but take this as a lesson to not allow yourself to be deceived by outside forces, because marriage is a beautiful matrimony between two people, and God made marriage to be very special. So do not allow outside factors of deception and manipulation interfere with your beautiful relationship that God has set for you. So that's where I'll end for today. I'm gonna go to church, but I hope everybody has a beautiful day. Thank you for joining my podcast, and I'll see you next Sunday.